Your value isn't up for debate right now. In this moment, someone here is sitting with a broken spirit, accepting less than they deserve, wondering if this is all life has to offer. Let me tell you something. That fire in your heart, that voice telling you there must be more than this. And that's not just a voice. That's your destiny calling. I remember sitting exactly where you are, giving everything I had, pouring my heart into people who saw my presence as their privilege, but treated it as their right. Every compromise, every just this one more time, every solid word. They all build up like invisible chains around your potential. But here's the truth that's going to shake your world today. The moment you truly understand your worth is the moment you realize that walking away isn't just an option. It's a responsibility to yourself. When people show you that they don't value your gifts, your time, your love, your dedication, that's not your cue to try harder. That's your signal to rise higher. Your worth isn't measured by how long you can endure disrespect. Your value isn't proven by how much pain you can take. Your greatness isn't shown by how small you can make yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. Today marks the end of shrinking yourself. Today is when you stop apologizing for taking up space. Today is when you finally understand the power was always within you to say enough. You see, there's a fundamental truth about value that most people never grasp. Your value is like a price tag that only you have the power to write. But too many of us, we hand that pen to others, letting them mark down our worth like items at a clearance sale. Who set your value in your current situation? Are you the one who decided your worth, or did you accept someone else's estimation? When was the last time you actually sat down and calculated what you bring to the table? See, external validation is like sugar. It gives you a quick high, but leaves you crashing, always needing more. You keep performing, keep proving, keep pushing, hoping someone would finally see what you're worth. Here's a brutal truth. If they don't see it by now, they're choosing not to look. Let me break down what it looks like when people don't value you. They'll take your time without consideration. They'll make promises they never intend to keep. They'll remember you when they need something, but forget you when it's time to give back. Their words might say you matter, but their actions scream you're disposable. You're nodding because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe it's that job where they keep promising a promotion but load you with more work instead. That relationship where you're always available but they only call when they're lonely. Those friends who remember you for favors but forget you during celebrations. The signs are always there. Your boundaries become suggestions. They regularly ignore. Your achievements get minimized while your mistakes get magnified. Your presence is expected, but your absence isn't respected. Your input is invited, but never implemented. Your needs are heard, but never addressed. This pattern isn't an accident. It's a choice. Their choice. But here's what they don't realize. You also have a choice. You have the power to say, my worth is not up for negotiation. Most people struggle with this because they confuse being valued with being needed. Listen carefully. Being needed is not the same as being valued. A battery is needed until it's drained. An umbrella is needed until the rain stops. You are not a tool to be used and discarded. You are a force to be reckoned with. The moment you truly understand this, everything shifts. You stop accepting breadcrumbs of respect because you realize you deserve the whole loaf. You stop making excuses for people who make no effort to keep you. You stop dimming your light because others prefer to stay in darkness. This understanding, this awakening to your true value, it's not just about feeling good. It's about setting the standard for how your entire life will unfold. Because when you know your worth, you stop participating in situations that require you to prove it. Your value is not a democracy. It doesn't need other people's votes. Your worth is not a product. It doesn't depreciate with time. Your importance is not a season. It doesn't change with the weather. When you stay where you're not valued, you're not just standing still. You're moving backward. Every day you spend in an environment that diminishes you is a day stolen from your destiny. Let me show you what that really costs you. Think about a plant trying to grow in a dark room. No matter how much potential that seed has, no matter how much it tries to reach for light, it will never fully bloom. That's exactly what happens to your potential when you stay where you're undervalued. The first thing that dies is your confidence. It happens so slowly you barely notice it. One small compromise today, another swallowed objection tomorrow. Each time you accept less than you deserve, you're telling yourself a story that this is what you're worth. Soon that story becomes your truth. I've seen brilliant minds reduced to dark-filled shadows. People who once had mountains of dreams now barely dare to climb hills. Why? Because they spent years in environments that treated their talents as ordinary, their ideas as unremarkable, their presence as replaceable. The energy drain is real. Have you noticed how do you feel? Not just physically tired, so tired. That's because it takes tremendous energy to constantly prove your worth to people who don't want to see it. Shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Silence your voice to keep the peace. Pretend that disrespect doesn't hurt. Fight for basic recognition that should come naturally, but the biggest cost is the opportunities you'll never even see. When you're busy trying to fix a situation that's breaking you, you miss the doors opening elsewhere. You're pouring energy into people who don't appreciate it. Someone who would value you is looking for exactly what you offer. There's also the cost to your health. The stress of being undervalued doesn't just stay in your mind, it shows up in your body. The headaches, the sleepless nights, the anxiety that sits in your chest like a heavy stone. These are your body's way of saying enough. Your relationships suffer too. When you accept less than you deserve in one area of life, it becomes your standard everywhere. You start accepting disrespect from friends because it feels normal. You tolerate poor treatment in relationships because it matches your daily experience. You stop reaching for better opportunities because you've forgotten you deserve them. Think about all the ideas you've stopped sharing, the dreams you've put on hold, the parts of yourself you've hidden away. Each one is a piece of your potential that's been sacrificed on the altar of good enough. That's the truth that might hurt the most. Every day you stay in a situation that diminishes you, you're teaching others how to treat you. You're not just accepting less than you deserve. You're advertising that this is your price. You're not just enduring disrespect. You're telling the world this is what you're worth. The cost of staying isn't just about what you lose today. It's about who you become while staying. It's about the version of yourself that slowly fades away, replaced by someone who's learned to live with less than they deserve. Remember that fire you once had? That absolute certainty about your dreams? That bold voice that used to speak up? They're still there, but they're getting quieter every day you stay where you're not valued. But here's the thing about costs. Once you truly see them, you can't unsee them. Once you understand what staying is really costing you, continuing to stay becomes more painful than leaving. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you about leaving might be the most important message you'll hear today. Leaving isn't just about walking away. It's about walking toward your destiny. That moment when you finally say, enough isn't the end of your story, it's the true beginning. When you leave a situation that doesn't value you, you're not losing anything real. You're losing chains that look like opportunities. You're losing cages that were disguised as comfort zones. You're losing weights that masqueraded as relationships. Of the step is always the hardest because it requires you to admit the truth. No amount of loyalty, hard work, or patience can make someone value you if they've chosen not to. That's not a failure on your part. That's their limitation. Your only failure would be staying after you've realized this truth. Now, let's be honest about the fears that keep you frozen. What if I can't make it on my own? What if I never find better? What if I'm making a mistake? What if people judge me? These fears are normal, but they're not facts. They're echoes of the very undervaluation you're trying to escape. Your mind has gotten so used to shrinking that it tries to talk you out of growing. Liberation starts with a decision. Not an emotional one made in anger, but a calm, clear choice made in self-respect. The moment you decide that your peace is non-negotiable, your growth is essential, and your value is fixed not open for discount. Yes, people will try to make you feel guilty. They'll say you're selfish. They'll remind you of all they've done for you. They might even promise to change. But remember this, if they truly valued you, you wouldn't be in this position of having to leave to be appreciated. Some will try to hold you back with comfortable excuses. Things aren't that bad. Nobody's perfect. At least you know what to expect here. The timing isn't right. When is the right time to start respecting yourself? When is the right time to stop accepting less than you deserve? When is the right time to begin living instead of just existing? The answer is now. Not next week, not next month, not when things get better. That's what nobody tells you about leaving and walking away. It's nothing compared to the long-term pain of staying where you're not valued. The temporary discomfort of change is nothing compared to the permanent discomfort of denying your worth. When you first leave, it might feel like you're losing something. Your mind will try to romanticize what you're leaving behind. It will conveniently forget the disrespect, the pain, the constant feeling of being undervalued. This is normal. Your mind prefers the familiar pain over unfamiliar possibility. Something magical happens. Maybe not immediately, but certainly inevitably. You start feeling lighter. You notice your thoughts are clearer. Your breathing is easier. Your smile is more genuine. These are signs of your spirit being liberated. You'll find strength you didn't know you had. You'll discover courage that was buried under years of compromise. You'll uncover talents that were hidden by someone else's shadow. This liberation isn't just about physical leaving. Sometimes it's about emotional and mental departure. It's about withdrawing your energy, expectations, and emotional investment from places and people that don't multiply them. So, number isn't about punishing others. It's about protecting yourself. It's not an act of anger. It's an act of self-love. It's not giving up. Your liberation has been waiting for you. Your future has been patient. Your true potential has been quietly whispering while you've been listening to voices that diminish you. It's time to listen to the right voice. Freedom brings responsibility. The responsibility to build something better than what you left behind. This rebuilding phase isn't just about creating a new life. It's about creating the right life. The first step in rebuilding is simple but powerful. You get to set new standards. Not standards based on what others think you deserve, but standards based on what you know you're worth. Take a moment right now. Think about everything you've been accepting. Now decide what you no longer tolerate. Many people stumble here because they rush to fill the spaces left behind. But empty space isn't your enemy, it's your opportunity. This silence you're hearing, it's not emptiness, it's clarity. This solitude you're feeling, it's not loneliness. It's freedom to choose better. Start with the basics. What do you actually want? Not what you settled for. Not what others told you to want. What do you want? Some of you haven't asked yourself this question in so long you might not even know the answer. That's okay. Finding out is part of the adventure. Here's what rebuilding looks like in Acts. You start saying no without explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for having standards. You begin trusting your instincts. You create boundaries that don't bend for anyone. You choose your peace over others' comfort. Watch what happens when you raise your standards. Some people will fall away naturally. Let them, they're making room for better connections. Some will try to pull you back to your old patterns. Stand firm. Your growth might make others uncomfortable. That's not your problem to solve. Now, about those new relationships you'll build. This time, you're not just letting people into your life. You're choosing them carefully. Look for people. Respect your boundaries without being reminded. Match your energy and effort. Support your growth without competition. Value your presence. Not just your usefulness. Show up consistently. Not just conveniently. This value needs new habits. Start small, but stay consistent. Take time each day to acknowledge your worth. Celebrate your small victories. Trust your judgment. Honor your feelings. Respect your own time. This rebuilding phase will test you. There will be days when your old life calls to you. Days when the familiar pain seems easier than unfamiliar growth. Remember why you left? Remember what it cost you to stay? Remember who you're becoming. You'll start noticing changes. Things that used to stress you out don't bother you anymore. People's opinions don't shake your confidence like they used to. You'll find yourself speaking up more, standing taller, laughing easier. Decisions become clearer because they're based on one simple question. Does this align with my worth? Not will this please others? Not is this better than nothing? But does this match what I deserve? The powerful truths. As you rebuild, you'll attract different opportunities. Better ones, the kind that matched your worth all along but couldn't reach you while you were settling for less. Your new standards become like a magnet attracting experiences that match your true value. You'll also discover something incredible. Your resilience. Every time you choose yourself, every time you maintain your boundaries, every time you refuse to settle, you get stronger. This strength isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving. Your rebuild isn't just about creating a new life. It's about creating a life that would have been impossible in your old environment. A life where your growth isn't limited by someone else's comfort zone. A life where your success isn't dimmed to make others feel brighter. This is your renaissance, your restoration, your return to yourself. Every decision you make from this point is either moving you toward this better life or pulling you back. Choose wisely. Choose yourself. Once you've chosen yourself, something remarkable happens. You enter a phase of growth that feels almost magical. This isn't just about getting better. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. Your mind starts operating at a different level. Ideas that seem impossible before now feel within reach. You know why? Because you're no longer carrying the weight of other people's limitations. You're not spending energy proving your worth. You're investing it in proving your capabilities to yourself. This growth shows up in unexpected ways. Your voice becomes steadier when you speak. You only become stronger without guilt. Your dreams become bigger because they're truly yours. Your choices become clearer because they align with your worth. Your success feels genuine because it's built on your terms. Let me tell you what real growth looks like. It's not just about learning new skills, though you'll do that too. It's about developing a stronger character. It's about building the kind of inner strength that no situation can shake. You'll notice you start attracting different opportunities, better ones, not because you're lucky, but because you've raised your standards. The world responds differently to someone who knows their worth. Doors that seem locked before suddenly open. Why? Because you're now knocking with confidence, not desperation. Success markers start showing up in your life. Not just the obvious ones like achievements and recognition, but the deeper wins. Inner peace that doesn't depend on outside approval. Relationships that energize instead of drain you. Decisions that feel right in your gut. Goals that excite you instead of overwhelming. Boundaries that people actually respect. Your character strengthens in ways you never expected. Patience becomes your power. Now your prison, kindness stays, but people-pleasing leaves. Confidence grows, but arrogance doesn't. Standards rise, but judgment of others. Success comes, but values don't leave. This is where something beautiful happens. You start succeeding not despite leaving, but because you left. All that energy you used to spend fighting for basic respect is now invested in your growth. All those hours you spent trying to prove your worth. They're now used to prove your capability. Watch how your vision expands. Things that seem like distant dreams start feeling like upcoming realities. Why? Because you're no longer viewing your potential through someone else's limited lens. You're seeing yourself clearly, maybe for the first time. The growth phase isn't always comfortable. You'll face challenges. But here's the difference. These challenges strengthen you instead of diminish you. They're not obstacles to your worth. They're opportunities to show it. You'll find yourself handling situations differently. Criticism doesn't shake you. It informs you. Setbacks don't stop you. They redirect you. Fear doesn't paralyze you. It prepares you. Change doesn't scare you. It excites you. This is the phase where you realize that living wasn't just about walking away from what didn't value you. It was about walking toward what does. Toward opportunities that match your worth. Toward relationships that honor your value. Toward a life that reflects your true potential. Right now, in this moment, you're standing at the edge of a decision. Not just any decision. The decision. The one that separates your past from your future. The one that draws the line between what you've accepted and what you deserve. I'm not asking you to quit everything tomorrow. I'm asking you to start valuing yourself today. Right here. Right now, let me give you practical steps to begin. First, take out your phone. Look at your calendar. Every appointment, every commitment, every obligation. Ask yourself one question. Does this align with my worth? From this moment, my value is non-negotiable. Write it down. Put it where you'll see it every morning. This isn't just a statement. It's your new standard of living. Third, take inventory of your current situation. There's 3 situations where you feel undervalued. Write down what staying is costing you. Identify one step you can take today to start changing each situation. Your action steps need to be real. They need to be, start that savings account for your exit plan. Update your resume today, not tomorrow. Make that phone call you've been avoiding. Set that boundary you've been postponing. Have that conversation you've been fearing. Some of you are thinking, but what if I'm not ready? Let me tell you something. You'll never feel completely ready to choose yourself. Do it scared, do it uncertain. That's what others sitting here thinking, but they need me. Remember this. Your absence will teach them what your presence couldn't. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give others is showing them how to respect your worth. Your future self is waiting. The one who walks with confidence. The one who speaks with authority. The one who lives without apology. Every day you stay where you're not valued, you keep that person waiting. The time for small change is over. The time for maybe tomorrow is done. The time for hoping things will get better is finished. Now is the time for bold moves, for clear decisions, for firm boundaries. Take one step today. Just one. But make it count. Because the truth is, you're not just leaving a situation that doesn't value you. You're walking into the life you deserve. The life that's been waiting for you. The life that matches your worth. Stand up. Step forward. Choose you. The door is open. Walk through it. Your time is now.